ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming the President of the United States, Barack Obama.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Hello, Hoosiers. Thank you so much. Well, please, everybody have a seat. Have a seat. Let me begin by saying thank you to Mayor Ballard for that introduction, for all the great work you're doing for the people of Indianapolis, and for your service as a Marine. We are very proud of the partnership that we've had with this city. I also want to recognize Ivy Tech Chancellor Kathleen Lee and President Tom Schneider. Where are they? There they are over here. Some outstanding members of Congress. Joe Donnelly, our senator. Where's Joe? There he is. Congressman Andre Carson. And somebody who has been a great friend for the people of this state, the people of this nation, a great friend to me personally, one of the people who have ensured that America is safe for so many years, former Senator and Mayor of Indianapolis, Dick Lugar. So. On the way over here, Dick and I were reminiscing about the first foreign trip I ever took was with Dick Lugar. He was the savvy veteran. I was the green behind the ears freshman. We went to Russia. We were both interested in nuclear proliferation. He had really written the book on it. Dick Lugar seems like a kind of a relaxed guy, but if you're on a trip with him, he will wear you out. And then at one point we were actually held by a Russian colonel at the airport for about 3 hours, which normally might have made people nervous, but Dick, he'd been around the block a few times, so he just took a nap. It was fine. It got cleared up. It is great to be back in Indiana, great to be back close to my home state. I respect the Pacers. But yes, I am a Bulls fan. I make no apologies. We've had some fierce rivalries in the past. And I'm looking forward to Mr. George and others getting back on track so we can have some more playoff runs. But that's not all that I know about this state. One of my first trips as president was to Elkhart. And I stopped by some of your manufacturing plants. I played 3-on-3 at a school up in Kokomo, and my team won, by the way. When it comes to elections, I'm batting 500. I'm 1 for 2, which isn't bad. Last time, I will acknowledge, last time I got kind of smoked here in Indiana. But that's okay. That's exactly why I wanted to come back. And I don't plan to take too long in the front because I want to make sure that we've got some time for questions. But, when I gave my State of the Union address a couple of weeks ago, I repeated a vision that I originally laid out in Boston over a decade ago. And that's a vision that says there is no liberal America or conservative America. There's the United States of America. And I know that sometimes it seems like our politics are more divided than ever, that in parts of Indiana, the only blue you'll ever see is on Colts signs. And in Chicago, the only red is for the Chicago Bulls. But I still believe what I said back then, that we actually have so much more in common than not. It doesn't always get focused on in our politics. And I've seen so much of the good, generous, big-hearted optimism of people across the country these past 6 years to give in to the cynicism that sometimes gets peddled as wisdom. around the country. And we've come a long way, 0.8, so that's almost 12 million new jobs. And that's the longest streak of private sector job growth in our history. Meanwhile, our deficits are shrinking. They've gone down by about 2/3. Our dropout rates are down. Our graduation rates are up. We're as free of foreign oil as we've been in 30 years. We've doubled the amount of clean energy that we're producing. A lot of families are saving a lot of money at the gas pump, which is putting some smiles on folks' faces. No, you're welcome. I mean, although I was telling somebody the other day, at some point they're going to go back up, so don't start, going out there and ignoring, the mileage on when you're buying a new car. So you got to keep looking for those savings. And in the single most hopeful sign for middle-class families, wages are starting to go up again. And so America is poised for another good year. Indianapolis is poised for another good year, as long as Washington works to keep this progress going. And I was struck as I was listening to the mayor's introduction. Here in Indiana, we've been able to do some good things because we haven't been so worried about Democrat, Republican, and we've focused more on trying to get the job done. And that attitude we're hoping to kind of infect Washington with. Try to adapt that same attitude when it comes to the problems that we face going forward. And Dick Lugar was a great example of that. We have we have risen from recession freer to write our own future than any nation on earth. But we've got to make some decisions about what that future looks like. Are we going to be a nation where a few of us do spectacularly well and everybody else is struggling to get by? Or are we going to have a country in which everybody has opportunity? Everybody's got a chance to succeed. Last year, I got a letter from Jillian Milham, who lives up in Fishers. Where's Jillian? There she is, right there, right in front. And Jillian's got 4 kids, ages 6 through 16, which means that, she's busy. For 13 years, Jillian was a stay-home mom. A few years ago, she was going through a divorce, had to find a way to support her family. She didn't have a college degree. Most of the jobs that she could find paid minimum wage. As she put it, I was a mom with 4 kids, and I had everything coming against me. So Jillian came here to Ivy Tech to invest in herself, to learn new skills. She paid her way with the help of a grant from her country and a grant from the state of Indiana. She made the dean's list, earned a spot in the radiography program at IUPUI. And that's a profession that pays pretty well. And today, she's a few months from graduating. She's ready to get started on a new career. And really proud. And, in the letter she wrote, she said, it's not just the possibility of financial security and career advancement. She said, it's also something I can show my children. It's about pride, and it's about being able to point to a brighter future for the next generation. And that's who I get up for every single day. Sometimes people ask me, Mr. President, your hair is so gray. Folks are always talking about you, not always in the most flattering way. How do you do it? Well, the reason is folks like Jillian, who are out there all across Indiana, all across the country. They're working so hard, doing the right thing, not asking for a handout. They just want to make sure that if they are putting in the effort and they're meeting their responsibilities, that they can get ahead. And And we can't do it for them, but we can help. We can create structures of opportunity like we have here at Ivy Tech. That's something we can do for everybody. And that's what keeps me going. Now, I want to make sure that this is a country where hard work is rewarded. And you get a chance to make a decent living. And that's what I've been calling middle-class economics is all about. The idea that in this country, everybody does best when everybody's doing their fair share. And everybody's got a fair shot. And everybody's playing by the same set of rules. You know, we live in a time of constant change, and technology's made some jobs obsolete. Global competition has shipped some jobs overseas. It's tougher to afford economic necessities like child care or health care. And that's been true since long before the financial crisis hit back in 2007, 2008. And that's why at a time when the economy is finally picking up steam and growing again, we got to work twice as hard, especially in Washington, to help more Americans like Jillian. So this week I sent Congress a budget that's built on this idea of middle-class economics for the 21st century. It means helping middle-class families afford child care and health care, making it a little easier to pay for college without taking on loads of debt, paid leave at work, helping first-time homebuyers, helping people save for retirement. And my budget addresses each of these issues, and it could put thousands of dollars back in the pockets of hard-working middle-class families. Middle-class economics also means helping more people like Jillian upgrade their skills, because this competitive economy is not going to get easier. You know, folks just aren't going to be in the same job for 30 years. These young people who are here today, they're going to have a bunch of different jobs. And there's going to be the need for you to continually upgrade your skills. It's all about lifelong learning now, not just a one-time deal. So that's why my budget makes 2 years of community college free for every responsible student. For every responsible student. Because here in America, it shouldn't matter how much money your folks make. If you're willing to work hard, you should be able to get that opportunity. And you shouldn't necessarily have $100,000 worth of debt when you leave, especially if you're going to go into a profession like teaching. And we're not just working to make community colleges free. Like Ivy Tech, we want to make our community colleges even better and more responsive and more attuned to what's going on in the marketplace. Right here at this school, one of the best in the country, not just in the state of Indiana. You're finding ways to raise graduation rates and partner with businesses to help provide apprenticeships and other pathways to careers that pay well in fields like construction and technology. Middle-class economics also means that we're investing in what makes our economy grow. Better roads, faster internet, cutting-edge research so that our businesses are creating high-paying jobs. And the good news is we can actually afford to pay for all this. We don't have to add to our deficits if we've got some smart spending cuts and if we fix a tax code that is filled up with special interest loopholes and kickbacks for folks who don't need them. You know, and in my budget, I identify some of these. There's a trust fund loophole that allows the wealthiest 1% of Americans who have benefited more over the last 20 years than anybody from when the economy has been growing. But this trust fund loophole allows the top 1% of Americans to avoid paying taxes on their unearned income. You know, that's not something that Jillian, when she gets her job, is going to be able to do. The majority of people here can't avoid paying taxes. I don't know why the folks who are most able to pay them should be able to avoid it. So we need to fix that. And then we can use the savings to cut taxes for middle-class families who really need it. You know, we know that there are companies that have stashed about $2 trillion overseas that haven't paid U.S. taxes. Let's close those loopholes. Make it more attractive for businesses to locate here in the United States of America. Let's give those folks a tax break. They'll create jobs right here in Indianapolis, right here in Indiana, as opposed to giving tax breaks to folks that are shipping jobs overseas or parking money overseas. We can do that. So these are ideas that are pretty common sense. Now, in Washington, folks saw the budget. They said, well, these are Obama's plans. Some of them are pretty good ideas, but they're never going to go anyplace because the Republicans control Congress and they're not going to do it. Well, you know, I'm not pushing these ideas for my sake. I'm pushing them because I think this is where America needs to go. And we should have a healthy debate about how to do the things that are necessary to help America grow. You know, Republicans and Democrats won't agree on everything, and that's fine. But we should agree on the stuff we're talking about now. We should agree that hardworking families should be able to get child care that's not more expensive than sending a kid to college. We should agree that somebody like Jillian, who wants to better herself, should be able to go to college without being loaded up with even more debt. We should be willing to agree that a great city like Indianapolis needs to keep its infrastructure in good shape in order to attract new businesses so they feel confident that they can get their products and services out to market, and that we've got the best trained workforce in the world, because that's what's going to make companies want to locate here. Those are things we can agree on. We should agree that the tax code should be fair, and nobody should be treated better just because they got better accountants or better lawyers. So if Republicans disagree with the way I'm trying to solve these problems, they should put forward their own plans, and I am happy to look at it. But what we can't do is ignore the problems and pretend that they don't matter. Pretend that families aren't out there struggling, doing their best. You know, I believe in a crazy thing Dick Ruger once wrote. Dick said, "The other party is also patriotic and may have good ideas." That's shocking. So, you know, I know Mayor Ballard believes the same thing, and certainly I do. So let's roll up our sleeves, work together, and try to get some stuff done. That's what all of you elected us to do. Not to turn everything into a Washington food fight, not to just refight the old partisan battles. Let's have a debate that's worthy of this country and build on an economy that is picking up steam and make sure that it is serving everybody, that prosperity is broad-based, that not only everybody is sharing in America's success, but everybody's contributing to America's success. That's what we're trying to do.